want to be like that, boy.
And welcome back, guys, to Into the Excel Verse. Today, we're going back to our research. Hold on. Whew. Thought I had to sneeze. Okay. All right. This is, I think, either episode 5 or 6. I think I'm leaning towards episode 5. So today we're going to learn about the Afro-Mexicans you never knew about. This is brought to you by Ace Live and we. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. So it was something I was about to say. It just said, beep. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Annetta, lock the doors because what I'm about to say is going to upset some people right next here. Okay. Christopher Columbus did not discover America.
People of African descent go back hundreds of years in Mexico, but as a group, Afro-Mexicans are largely invisible.
Ay, tú eres cubana, ¿no? Porque también ahí dices, ota madre, el clásico cliché.
During the Civil War era, black Union soldiers in Louisiana developed a relationship with Mexicans and Mexican Americans.
After the Civil War, St. Mary's history professor Teresa Van Hoy says black Union soldiers helped to liberate Mexico from French control.
After the war, they snuck across to Mexico
to help Mexicans and Mexican Americans overthrow the French.
¿Eres cubana o brasileña?
Something you want to tell the audience?
No. No.
Because they're gonna be saying in the comments, like, what was he laughing for?
I want to apologize
We supposed to learn about
for being goofy. Go ahead.
We're supposed to learn about history today. Come on, tell us about history. How could you do this to us?
I'm sorry.
We're supposed to learn today.
Colombiana o venezolana, de algún otro lado menos mexicano.
In his diary of his second voyage, Columbus tells of how the natives of Hispaniola actually had given him gold-tipped metal spearheads that they said were brought by black-skinned people who had come in large boats from the south and southeast. These spearheads were covered in this metal this alloy that the inhabitants called guanin, which matched the metal used in spearheads made in Western Africa for thousands of years, as carried by medieval African warriors, including the Mali and the Moors. The West Africans even called this metal guanine, the same name used by the natives of Hispaniola. But nothing more was said about that. These murals are from the Temple of the Warriors at Chichen Itza. Now, they clearly feature, the color version is easier to see, but they clearly feature 3 races. And it's depicting black and Indian allies and a battle against white invaders. And because this mural shows that blacks are clearly fighting on the side of the Mayans, that they must have been integrated into that society much longer before this painting was done. There are numerous pre-Columbian figurines with striking similarities to ancient African artwork, and they've been found in Central and South America. In southeastern Mexico, there are 18 rock statues of heads up to 11 feet tall that are facing the ocean. These people that they modeled them after must have been important. Whoever they were, they must have been important to be remembered or obeyed or worshipped. Jose Megler Serrano, the archaeologist who first uncovered them, he pointed out that facial features look amazingly like African blacks, and they all display distinctive headgear or protective helmets.
Son personas afrodescendientes de todas partes, que tienen hijos y que van dejando generaciones en esta diversidad de lo que es la afrodiáspora.
Van Hoy says before slavery ended in America, slaves would flee to Mexico by following trails left in the sand by Mexican wagoneers who traded goods.
Why would slaves cross the border to seek asylum in Mexico? And the answer is clear. This is Vicente Guerrero, a Mexican man who was born from humble beginnings. Born in Mexico, his mother was an indigenous woman, and his father was an Afro-Mexican. That's right, an African born in Mexico. Vicente was born at the lowest level of the Spaniard caste system, a system designed to hinder Afro and indigenous from seeing the highest level of social status in Mexico. However, through hard work and fighting for his country, Vicente was able to transcend the caste system. He was no longer considered a color. He became a legend, the people's hero. The people loved him so much they made him the second president of Mexico. That's right, a Afro-descendant. While in office, he took steps to give the indigenous people rights and abolish slavery, the very system that he grew up under. This is why slaves fled to Mexico, so they could be free. Vicente Guerrero is a true definition of a Mexican and also represents a group that I'm looking for, the Afro-Mexican community. Tell me, when you think about Mexican history, do you think about the African contribution? The truth is, at one point, there were more Africans being born in Mexico than there were indigenous and Spanish. But those numbers have dwindled through generational mixed unions and migration. Because of this, many Mexicans are not aware of their African heritage. In this documentary, I want to learn more about Mexico's African history and hopefully find a Afro-Mexican descendant community. Join me as I embark on an incredible journey. Let's begin now. All right, guys, so we're at the Museum of Anthropology, Jalapa, and this is the area where we're going to see the Olmec heads. A lot of you guys have been telling me about checking out the heads.
All right, a couple of notes. John, you would like to go first?
Sure. First thing I would like to say is Ace did a good job of hooking up this video. He was really spot on, very creative, straight to the point. So it's good to see that they had a black president in Mexico, which I did not know. I didn't know that. They didn't tell us this stuff in school. Yeah, but other than that, like, that's very impressive. And, and that's good that when they have a black president in a country, then lost my train of thought. No, but all right. So I'm gonna just say that it's good to see that they had a black president, which I didn't know. But other than that, they had some slaves over there, which I didn't know about. I didn't know they had black people over there in Mexico, descendants. So other than that, yeah, Ace did a good job of showing this. So I'm very impressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
On my end, I would have to say the same thing as well. I didn't know about the black president, and I really wish that they taught this in history classes more. Mm-hmm. But the way society is now, they would never do that.
Yeah.
It won't take a miracle to do that.
Yeah.
Or you will have to homeschool your kids to learn about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or watch Ace Live's channel in order to learn about history,
yeah,
and culture and where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
I too didn't know that there was more black people in Mexico and Brazil than just Africa. And that's something to take into account as well. So I appreciate Ace taking out the time to make these type of videos. And it's really educational and enjoyable at the same time.
Yep.
And I too would like to do something like that in the near future.
Yeah.
Anything else before we move on?
Yeah. I'm gonna look into it. Do some more research on Mexico, Afro-Mexicans, because I'm very interested now since seeing this. So I'm gonna get to it because this is very interesting. Like I said, Ace did a good job of hooking this video up, showing us the truth. And obviously I did my research, like my brother said, it's more black people in Mexico and Brazil,
Yeah, I know there's more countries, but those are the main two, outside of Africa. I know there's a lot more.
Yeah, America got a small percentage of black people. That's facts. All right.
Yeah, it's just the 1%.
So that's low. Yeah. So, but it's good to study and understand culture, understand where your people is located, and find them and understand them and learn from them. You know, it'll make you a better person at the same time too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beautiful to see that we have, you know, brothers and sisters in Mexico and all these countries, all these regions that we can learn about. So that's all I gotta say.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
So we finally here, and I'm with my boy, Mr. Technology. Like 24 hours ago, he was in Bogota. Now he's here. This guy likes to travel, so make sure you check out his channel. But yeah, we're here to find out the culture about the indigenous Olmec people, and just seeing something about Mexico history and learning more about ourselves as human beings. All right, so we're walking in, guys. As soon as you walk in, you can see one of the famous Olmec heads here, but we have to check in here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I wanted a guide here, but you gotta request that super early. So if you want to come here, come super early to get a guide. So this is what they have for us right here. If you come late, and literally you just scan the barcodes, and this will tell you information about what's going on. And we'll just check out what is the history of these beautiful indigenous heads right here, okay? So we'll start off with this one right here. What caught my eye when I first saw it was the nose. It's just this facial feature. It reminded me of just African features. And so I wanted to see it for myself. And just not only that, to see how huge it is. All right, so as you can see, this thing is truly colossal. And so what we'll do is we'll just scan this bar right here and see what it says here. Hopefully it can give you guys an insight.
This sculpture that creates is the 8 colossal head. It is considered as one of the most preserved colossal heads. The helmet has a band where 4 elements can be appreciated. They have been interpreted as feline claws and raptor nails. This colossal head is the only one with a semi-rounded shape, so it was possible that it was carved in one size, unlike the others that were sculpted or recycled.
And so we'll go look at some other heads right here. There's one in particular I want to see though. Hopefully we can come across it. More artifacts right here, guys. This is something I probably would have seen in Africa though. And there it is, guys. This is the one that caught my eye. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful this one is. Oh, look at it. It is amazing. This one right here is the one I've been looking for. Look at it, guys. And all this beauty.
It is the most significant and impressive of the colossal heads. This is the first one discovered in San Lorenzo Tenochtitlan, Veracruz, in 1946, during the expedition of Matthew Stirling in the forest lands of the lower basin of the Coatzacoalcos River. This sculpture was found on the slope of a ravine facing the sky, and although its conservation state is good, it suffers a fracture on the face near the right eye, which had to be restored. This character has been called the King because of its majestic appearance. It is one of the largest Olmec monuments, and its archaeological value is as great as its aesthetic value.
You can see where they actually had to fix the eye up, but I think they did a decent job. Yo, we're here, let's do it. There's one called El Negro. That's the one I came for. Another one I came for. Here, this looks like one of my African brothers right here, man. Does it not or not?
Oh, it does, for sure.
I wanna say something about this piece right here, guys. And I know Mexicans are gonna be like, hey, it's a Mexican. It could be either way. But that goes to show that Mexicans and Africans have similar features. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, my thought is this. Before there was labels of black, white, and stuff like that, there just was tribes of people that looked differently. And some of the people in the tribes looked like me. They looked like me. They're part of the same tribe, but they looked like me. Okay, that's how I feel about it. It just looked like me, and This right here, this guy looked like a guy I met in Haiti. Yeah. So the big lips, the nose. And when we go to other artifact places, like, or you go to any other country, you'll see artifacts, but they look like the people that's there. And the people that were here look like this. And it's just interesting how the people also look like the people from Africa. This is undeniable, guys. And I've seen the comparisons. This can be a Mexican. This could be a person of today's time in terms of a Mexican person, but it also could be a African person as well. But I think that is awesome. This right here, it should be like study as a piece that unites us, not separates us. Because a lot of people will look at this and they'll have fights about it.
Disruptions that come up from images like this and disputes would be from the people that look nothing like that. So that would be Europeans. Like, they have a history, at least back in the day. I'm not talking about like people right now. This is not personal. But what I'm saying is, we know in history that Europeans have come to African structures in Africa and blasted off the noses or the features that would make it undeniably known that they are African.
So it's just amazing you see this here.
Right, in full context together, not defaced.
Yo, so talking about defacing, this one, they said they started using the material from the heads for other things. That's what they said. That's what the story is. But that could have been a defacing. Yes. As you can see. You know what I mean? Because it's not hard to just go in and destroying this thing and get the material you need. Exactly. If you're just carving just a little bit out, it seems like you might be doing something else. And then what's up with all these holes? Well, I haven't seen them, you know.
It might be a porous material, right? So weather, water, you know, those porous materials will give up a lot of those holes.
This guy looks very happy.
There have been found, up to now, 17 colossal heads in the sites of La Venta, Tabasco, Tres Zapotes, and San Lorenzo. In the last one, 10 works of this type were recovered. The Anthropology Museum of Jalapa safeguards 7 of them, which it is the most complete corpus of this type of monuments. The sites where most of the colossal heads have been found lack of stony fields. Although all the colossal heads have features in common, such as the eyes, frowning, wide nose, and mouth, each one of them has characteristics that makes them different from one to another, such as cheekbones. The smile, and especially every headdress or helmet, contains unique designs. The 10 colossal heads were found in different years, from 1946 to 1994, but almost all were in context of landslides in the ravines of San Lorenzo.
Got this exquisite work right here. As you can see, listen, this is the type of stuff you're gonna see all over the world, all right? Everybody had the same idea, recorded history on a slab of rock. And I think that's amazing. Just to see the different type of styles, and it all came from Mexico, okay? We're seeing different styles here. So that's just to show you there's different type of people, different energy. And this is what you're getting in different parts of Mexico. And so you have your Olmec type people, and you have other indigenous groups creating different type of artifacts. But this one is very impressive. Just all the different pieces of clay they used to create this. Really dope. Check these guys out. Wow. Nice. I have to apologize, guys, if I'm going too quick and it's not showing you as much pieces. But that gives you every reason why you should come out here. But they are closing, so I was just rushing around to see what I can get. So this is the original piece, but this reminds me of Egypt. I've never been to Egypt, but this piece right here reminds me of Egypt, of what I've seen as far as hieroglyphics are concerned. Just check a look to see. All right, and this is what you get right here. for me, I think it's different. All right, wow. All right, guys. Check it out. All right, guys, I'm actually getting kicked out. It's getting late, but just wanted to show you all these different pieces, man. They're closing the lights and everything. It's time for them guys to go home. I have plenty of time to go check it out. I got flashlight. Check out my boy Tay. Always ready. He got a flashlight just in case they turn the light off.
Yeah, I always got some lights.
You always got You always got time to shed some light on a couple things.
I can always light it up.
Okay, I got you. We call him Tay International, but I call him Tay Technology because this guy's always popping up with some stuff. I'm here in Yanga, Veracruz, Mexico, and I'm in front of a very interesting statue right here. Just to give you some history about Yanga, Yanga is considered one of the first free slave towns in the Americas. Might even be the first. It all depends on the different dates or how you look on different dates, but we're not here to discuss who was the first. Just know this place used to be a village where a lot of runaway slaves made home, okay? And so this right here is a monument of the slaves right here, and I really like what the Mexican people did pretty much. They went ahead and gave you the history, so there's no real historian here that I found thus far, but they went ahead to show us some of the history, and they put it in Spanish and English for those people who are coming from America trying to learn about the history. So I really appreciate it. It tells you the history about the African people living here in terms of how this town got established. It's very important. They have no choice but to keep this here. The slaves that used to be here used to run the sugarcane farms, and they broke away and formed a village right here. The history goes it was a guy from Angola, West Africa, who pretty much became the leader of all the slaves that were here, the free slaves that made this their town. His name was Yanga, and so eventually this town now is called Yanga. I don't know if it's a town or a city.
I think it's a town now, but there's also a bigger municipality. But when you look it up on Google Maps, you can look up Yanga, and it'll show this. Maybe it's Yanga. I don't know how it's.
I mean, it's surrounded by beautiful scenery. Just coming here from the Veracruz airport will take you like an hour and a half to get here. But man, beautiful scenery. This place also was called Palenque, like the Palenque you've seen in Cartagena. But there's a big difference, obviously infrastructure-wise. The inhabitants look a little bit different from this guy right here, which poses a question: are the descendants of the Yanga village still here, and do they look differently? So that's what we're trying to figure out. I'm hoping to see if I can probably bump into someone that's willing to talk to see whether or not hey, yeah, my grandma, my great grandma was super black, or my great grandfather was black, yeah, Afro, you know. I want to maybe that's possible here. Now also there's another statue, so when you look online you'll see this statue. There's another statue. I also want to check that statue out as well. Hola, yo estoy buscando ese. ¿Ellos cambiarlo?
Es más para abajo.
Oh, eso otro. Hay. ¿Cómo se llama el parque? ¿El parque? Para allá.
Más para abajo.
Ok, gracias. Dame uno. Yeah. I found, guys, I can't believe it. I found me Mexicano.
Mexican citizen. Mi familia está en West Virginia.
Oh, your family's American. Oh, okay, we trying to figure it out. Okay, we're close, but we're trying to figure it out.
Yo aquí trabajo, acá vivo. Yo soy escritor.
You write books?
Yeah, 11 libros, 11 ejemplares de libros.
You have 11 books?
11. El conformismo me hizo vivir acá muy bonito. Es una vida muy de paz, de tranquilidad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No me gusta la ciudad para nada.
He doesn't like bigger cities. He likes living he likes living in smaller towns. He finds a lot of peace here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, man. What's your name, man?
Brian Brown Johnson.
Brian Brown Johnson. It was nice. Yeah, that's if I don't know American name, if I heard one. All right, my brother. Are you the only black guy here?
Realmente aquí hay un sitio donde están mucha gente de raza negra, pero ya se está perdiendo un poco el...
¿Cuántos negros aquí? ¿Tú? How many brothers and sisters here?
El original aquí negro soy solo yo.
Okay.
Only me. La mayor parte de las personas acá vienen de la raza negra.
So most of the people here in this area have probably came from the black race, probably a mixture of indigenous and Spanish people, but a lot of them are not familiar with their background. But he's black though. I just saw that. Yeah, you black.
Okay. De hecho, en mis libros, con mi sabiduría, la primera humanidad que hubo aquí en la tierra que existió, todo el ser humano viene de la raza negra. Todos. Y en el transcurso del tiempo, toda la humanidad va a volver a ser negros. Se llama Mente Abierta, buscando mi propio yo. El realismo de la vida. Descúbrete, encuéntrate tú mismo.
Get his WhatsApp number, and he says he's very seldomly touches bases on technology. Guys, I'll just do a little walk around so you can see some of the town, more than just the statue. There's another statue further this way, so we're gonna walk with our newfound friend, Mr. Johnson, Chad Johnson, and pretty much see what they have available here.
Hey, what's up?
All right, you guys. Hold on 1 second. All right, you guys. We're going to stop there for today. We're going to do, this is our part 1. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Ace Live for this video and shout out to him. And if you want to see more videos like his video, make sure you go down to his link that I'll put down here below once our video is done. So, any thoughts? You knew I was.
he was like. I'm gonna say this one more time. Ace did a good job, man.
Man, you want to jump in Mexico?
Man, that's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to actually see a black brother. You know, and on top of that, he's, you know, Mexican, Afro-Mexican.
And he's at peace.
He's at peace. And you see him, you actually see him. Like, it's beautiful. Like, this brother, he's black, but he's Mexican. He's Afro-Mexican. Yep. The evidence is right there in our face. You know, and it's amazing. You know, but other than that, I learned a lot, and like I said, Ace did a good job, so I can't wait for part 2.
Yep, it's definitely coming soon today. Yeah. Not today, but you know what I mean. But I'm only gonna say this once.
Go ahead, brother.
Get your passport, and while you're doing that, make sure you like and subscribe. Until then, we'll see you next time.
All right.